This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in metaquest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The metaquest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my two personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered. Hey everyone, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. You're tuning in for another edition of Monday Morning News.
Never a dull moment.
No, and there's a couple fears in our podcast. For those of you who have been listening for quite a bit, you might have picked up that oftentimes we record our episodes on Sunday, and it's always a fear of ours that we'll record and then an update drops.
Something changes Monday.
Yep. And so check this: we recorded on Sunday afternoon. I edit it, get the episode upload, I hit submit, boom, ready to go for Monday morning for the news last week. And then what happens? A Cambria leak. It comes out.
Timing couldn't have been more perfect.
Right after, almost right when I hit submit, I take out my phone, I go on Reddit, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
So
no, that's crazy because we always, literally checking until the record button's pressed because we don't want to miss anything. And then
yeah, this is the equivalent of us recording a review for a game and saying like, oh, I wish it had this, and this, and then it drops the day before. They add all those features right before. So, last Sunday night, it came out that somebody found it's what's been known as Cambria. Project Cambria, but it's going to be officially known as, according to this leak, the MetaQuest Pro. He found two of them in a bag in a hotel that was found, quote unquote, that was left in a hotel by a Meta engineer. And this guy did an interview with Upload VR where he tells the whole story, but basically he says he found the bags, took them back, realized it was a Quest Pro, did the unboxing, posted it online, did the whole leak, and then returned it to the guy when he came and started asking for it.
Yeah, I guess the gray area for me is where'd you actually find these bags, if that's what you're saying, because he's saying he found them outside the room and
in a hallway,
which is what people do when they want. I've stayed in a lot of hotels, and I've never taken my trash, like a bag of trash, and put it outside my door to just sit there on the carpet. That's the dumbest thing ever. The only thing I've ever seen outside hotel rooms are food carts and food trays.
Yeah, instantly, I won't lie. You always want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but
and at a resort too, just
yeah,
put your trash outside in the hallway.
My skeptical brain instantly went that I don't know if this was found in a hallway.
I envisioned the size 10 boot kicking the door or something, or who knows, going in to clean it, but. That's the real gray area for me, even if what the pictures are true. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so he posted some pictures of it, and people were kind of like, no, that's a lie. That's not real. So then he's like, all right. So then that's when he posted the full unboxing of it. And, what are the chances the guy's a VR fan? He's had a Quest 2 for a while. There's been instantly...
What are the odds?
Some people were saying, controlled leak. This is probably a media stunt by Meta.
Yeah, I guess it could be, but I don't.
It's possible.
They could do better than that.
Something similar like this happened with an iPhone once. I think it was the iPhone 4. An Apple engineer forgot it on the bar counter.
Yeah,
and it was found, and then it was
that
sold
was
to
legit.
Yeah.
So
it's possible this happened too. And according to this guy, he was getting offers from people to sell, hey, sell me the headset. And according to him, they're offering him a good amount of money. But he said, no, I did the right thing and returned it to the owners. It's like you kind of did half the right thing.
Mm.
You definitely should have returned it, but, you know, you can't fully say you did the right thing when you did the full unboxing and leak.
I suppose if it was me, I would contact Meta and I'd be like, I have 2 Cambria headsets here that somebody was throwing away.
Mm-hmm. It says MetaQuest Pro.
And I want to do the right thing. I'm not posting any photos, but can I get one of these headsets? You know, I'll even wait till the release date, you know, but I would have played it that way. And then at least I could have gotten one on the day they come out.
Yeah, the footage wasn't the best. And, like, I mean, right off the top, I'll say the way he was picking it up, the thing looks lightweight and it looks like very evenly balanced. So that was a little exciting, but like it wasn't the best footage ever. You know, the way it was like all presented.
Neither is the Bigfoot footage, you know.
And it's like, I'm sure that they probably would have preferred to do, you know, a big announcement at the Quest conference coming up October 11th.
Well, I'm quite sure that when Meta does their release, an announcement, it's going to be put together in a stunning fashion, not taken from an Android phone or something, you know.
Yeah.
With wobble cam or.
So I don't know. The whole story is a little fishy, right from the, you know.
Right from the first photo.
Yeah, right from the start of, is it a controlled leak or was it actually genuinely found? And then it's like, all right, now next question, was it actually found in the hallway or was it found in the room?
In the room. Under the guy's head while he was sleeping.
It was found next to a note that said, "Do not touch."
Right? Yeah. No. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
at least the engineer got it back. But do you think this guy still has a job? I'd feel so bad. I feel bad for him. He's probably so stressed. Imagine that heart sinking feeling.
If he threw it away, then yeah, I'd assume he's probably unemployed. But if he legitimately is like, it was never out in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was, you know, I don't know. I'm really interested to hear his side of things more than
maybe they
somebody who found it.
To give the benefit, maybe he checked out and then the cleaning crew cleaned the room.
That's also a possibility.
And then that's where they leave the trash. Is like when the cleaning crew's done cleaning room.
In the trash barrel.
And then they put it
That's where I leave my trash in a hotel room. They give you plenty of trash receptacles to put your garbage in. All over the world, too.
Yeah, there's 2 sides of me kind of conflicting where it's like, you know, you always want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You never want to say, oh, there's this dude's a liar or anything. But at the same time, I'm inherently a skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
So anything I hear about that just sounds weird. It's like, well, if it sounds weird, it's probably weird for a reason.
It's like the perfect scenario. I mean,
it's a little weird.
Look, I happen to be a car enthusiast, and I was walking in the woods, and I came across this clearing, and there just happened to be a Ferrari in it with keys. And I happen to get in it and drive it, and
yeah,
you know, it's like the perfect scenario to line up for.
Yeah, there's a lot weird from many different perspectives and angles.
Some 50-50. Controlled leak or somebody just stumbled on one, but this story is hokey as hell.
Yeah, and again, it's still funny. It's like you did half the right thing. You probably shouldn't have leaked it.
Well, got them likes, you know.
Yeah, you know, hey, you do you, playa. So then, you know, right after that, Sony released, like, all of a sudden they were doing a Sony State of Play out of nowhere where they're going to cover, you know, I think it was like 10 different.
Putting everything on the table.
Well, they covered like 10, I think it was 10 new upcoming PlayStation games.
There was some excitement for this.
Yeah, and hey, look, PlayStation for console, for like flat screen gaming, I mean, it's a good time for, you know, PlayStation and Xbox fans. But they announced 2 VR games coming up. Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please. These 2 upcoming games for the PlayStation VR.
It's 2.
They're getting Demio and they're getting Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which I imagine includes the DLC as well. I'd hope.
You know, the Demio one kind of made me really happy because it's like Demio should be playable on any.
And I hope it's cross-platform because that would just mean bigger player base. But it's like these aren't 2 new games or anything. These are 2 kind of ports from the Quest to PlayStation. I mean, in fact, Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge is in part made by Oculus Studios.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to have their logo in the game somewhere.
Well, you know what I like to... Man, I don't think that granted, there's some Quest exclusives like Resident Evil 4, which I wouldn't even be surprised if that went to PlayStation VR as well. But overall, it doesn't seem like Meta has as big of the exclusive mentality as like Sony does with their VR back. Like there's a lot of
get paid either way.
There's a lot of PlayStation VR games. like some really cool superhero ones and things like that. That just it's not even within question about them coming to the Quest. Whereas like they're getting Demio, they're getting a game in part made by Oculus Studios. They'll probably get Beat Saber, and Beat Saber is owned by Oculus. You know, I wouldn't be surprised
Beat
if
Saber, I'm curious if that would really go to.
it's on PlayStation VR1 already, and it's like, you know, if Beat Games, I think is the Beat Saber studio name, if they make money, Oculus makes money, so I wouldn't be surprised if
Yeah,
they
if at
went
the
to,
end of the day everyone's getting a paycheck, then
yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if Beat Saber went to PlayStation VR way back in the day, Population 1, you know, before they got bought by Meta. Population Big Box was saying that they wanted to get Population 1 onto PlayStation VR. I wouldn't be shocked to see Population 1 on PlayStation VR 2. But that's another game.
It would be nice if that was announced in some way. To say my level of, I mean, I'm happy with the 2 games that they announced, but it's like, you know, you could have done that in a tweet.
Yeah, well,
You know, there's nothing special about.
Well, I hope that you know, we start to see some games made for PlayStation VR 2 versus like games that already exist on the Quest 2, and it's kind of like extending the reach of them, you know?
Yeah, which I'm sure is going to happen to some degree. But then I'm thinking, you know, what does PlayStation have on its belt that's really good other than like Gran Turismo, which is, you know,
Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid in VR would be real sweet, just to play devil's advocate.
Be tough.
It'd be sweet.
Be lagging that shit out.
And what have I said since day one? You know, my all-time favorite game is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, which is getting a remake, not a remaster, a full-blown remake. Probably have different combat, a little different story elements, unfortunately, but that's just the way these things go. You got to modernize it, but it's actually in a little bit of developmental hell. It seems like it's switched studios, unfortunately, but that's going to launch on PlayStation 5 first. And I've long said that if that game had VR support, ooh, that I'd be putting in some thought. So that'd be a cool one up the sleeve. But that game seems so far away. You know, maybe they were hoping to get some VR support, and it's like in developmental hell. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean their struggle to get developers committed to their cause is, you know, I mean
Gran Turismo in VR would be sweet too.
It
As
would
soon
be.
as you said that.
I've always been disappointed they never shared it.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the days of exclusives are just, I don't know. It seems outdated.
When things went cross-platform and such, they really should. Everybody should just cut it out.
Well, especially if it's a case of, like, example.
Like Microsoft Flight should be able to play it on a PlayStation.
Yeah, well, the only reason why you can do Microsoft Flight Sim on Xbox because they're cloud software.
Well, with
whatever.
the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have the new, which, you know, I don't have the funds to spend on $1,000 for a console, I wish, but you could easily play it on that. But they just, for some reason, the cloud server way to play it works on Xbox One.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, like, in the case of, like, if the publisher, like, or the hardware owner, like Meta, if they own the studio, like Beat Games, then yeah, everybody wins by putting it on all platforms. So if the publisher owns the studio, it shouldn't be exclusive because it's like, shit, you're selling the game more. You're winning anyway. You're not really winning by it being exclusive.
No, it was always this is how we force you to, because Gran Turismo was my PlayStation game.
Yeah, that's why you loved it. I remember that as a kid.
Granted, I veered off the PlayStation menu and went Xbox, but it's like to this day, it's like I'd love a PlayStation just for Gran Turismo.
And now, as well as some journalists did some, like, you know, big VR journalists and some content creators, they did some hands-on reviews of the PlayStation VR 2, and they were all complimentary. But it's like everything, you know. I agree with what you're saying. It comes down to the library. You know, let's see what games come.
They're gonna have to step up the game.
Yeah.
Although I'm happy that Demio is.
Yeah, selfishly I'm happy because, again, bigger player base. You know, more money to Resolution Games. That means,
and we know Resolution's gonna keep throwing money into their game and keep making it better and better. So
Yeah, that's a company that invests back into its product. So if they make a bunch of money off Demio on PlayStation VR, probably going to get better games all around. So everybody wins in that. And then another pretty sweet game just dropped on the MetaQuest. It's getting some hype. We'll definitely check it out. We just, cracking away at some others slowly, like Into the Radius. But, NFL Pro Era just dropped, which is like...
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's made in collaboration with a couple former players, and it's a...
You know how hard that is not, by the way? Like, if you want to...
Well, I mean...
We did this interview with the help of a former... It wouldn't be that hard.
I'm curious how...
A lot of them are selling cars and not doing shit.
I'm curious their involvement, if they were just kind of like financial backers, if they were like advisors of like... throughout the developmental process, they would try it and be like, no, that doesn't work. It should go. I'm curious.
Tell me Tom Brady worked on the throwing physics and all that to make sure they were accurate, and you've got my attention. But if they had Tom Brady, they would have said it, right?
No, but it's there's a lot more players in the NFL and former players than Tom Brady.
Yeah, like thousands. Nobody,
so,
But no, I'm excited for when you had told me a while back ago, months and months ago, about this game. I know I want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about the throwing.
I've heard mixed things. I mean,
like literally 50-50 on the...
So what the game is you take the role as a quarterback, and they're very clear on that. Like, at no point are they selling it as like a Madden, like you make the plays,
No, you throw the ball.
No, you play as a quarterback. So you're gonna, the way it goes is the coach will like pick a play for you, and then you can do like an audible and change the play. But for the most part, you're just, you do what's told to you, and you do the play. But like you were saying, a pretty core element of the game is the throwing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, split down the middle,
Yeah, I couldn't find anywhere where it was leaning one way. And I think even in Discord, it was saying, from what Shoes found, it was 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, so basically what I've read a lot of, there's an aim assist on it right away, like a throw assist. A lot of people are saying if you want, more difficult gameplay, you have to turn that off. Like, apparently with that on, it's like, but like, so that's like a no-brainer. And me, I'm not a good football guy. Like, I suck at football, so I'll probably play a couple of games with that on first anyway. And then there's a difficulty meter. So apparently, like, if you turn the difficulty all the way up, but still have throw assist on, it's still easy. But it's like, well, yeah, because throw assist is on.
Yeah, turn that throw assist off.
What I've heard a lot of people say is if you turn throw assist off and turn up the difficulty all the way, it still could be a little harder, but it's much more realistic. Now, I'll need to do my own formal review on it to get my opinion on that.
I guess if you're really into football, that would probably be the... I mean, I'm thinking of Unplugged, where when we were talking to the developer, and I'm like, holy shit, some of these songs, the notes, it's hard as hell. And he's like, oh, it's funny you say that, because a lot of the people who helped do the actual musicians were like, no, this shit's not hard at all. You can do this shit in your sleep. So you just wonder if it's something similar to that with the throwing of where, yeah, if you're like a football player or you're a quarterback, you're going to be like, yeah, that feels pretty. But if you're not, if you're like me or you and go crank that difficulty up, the ball's probably not going to perform half as well as it would if you had the little cheat mark on.
Mm-hmm.
But I can already see that. Yeah. But I want to know, like, is it like going to have a good spiral? Does it get all wonky?
What seems universal, though, is that the graphics are good. I mean, it's a cool concept.
NFL endorsed, right?
Yeah, it's got it's the first official NFL game in VR, and there's a little multiplayer aspect. You don't play like multiplayer games together. You pass the ball with your friends.
Catch.
Yeah, play catch on a full-size field. But then they have like a exhibition mode where you can do like one-on-one, or not one-on-one, but like, just a kind of quick play.
I keep laughing but I really do want to play it.
Well, what intrigues me is that they have a full like campaign mode, not full campaign, like a full season mode. You play through a whole season, and you pick your favorite team, and then you make a character. And then you can choose to play as your character or that team's, real quarterback.
Yeah.
And then you play a whole season. That's pretty freaking cool. And they have like a locker room area that is apparently like tight.
That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to hang out in that locker room. No, I'm just kidding.
It'd be cool if the locker room area was multiplayer though too.
Jock straps everywhere.
Yeah.
Naked 7-foot monsters.
Let's go hit the showers, boys.
It's the other thing I want to know is like the scale, because I've stood next to NFL players and they're absolutely. I mean, the smallest guy is usually huge. So like, are you gonna feel the scale of the?
Well, you're also a big guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the guys around you and stuff, is it gonna have? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get into the mech and the mech game, and it's like, whoa! The first thing you feel is the scale of the actual mech. So it's like the players, are they gonna have that?
I wonder
real
what it
to
feels
life
like.
Scale.
I want to know what it feels like to get sacked. You know,
haptic feedback.
That would be a great. I was already thinking it.
Right?
Yeah.
Must be played sitting down.
Okay, so what I'll say is, as a dude who sucks at football and everything like that, hearing too easy, I'm not turned off right away. No. I need to experience that myself, because too easy might actually be good for me. You know,
too easy for who?
For who? Yeah. You know, for me, that might actually be a great experience.
And if it's just their start and they've got bigger plans for it, then I think it's a perfect, get everyone in there. They learn how to start playing the basics of the game, and then they can start throwing more difficult shit into it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got the official NFL name. It's got tight graphics. Throwing, if there's some, like we said, mixed things on throwing, but we'll get our own formal opinion on it. But that's always something that can get updated too. If you ask me, at this point, they have a way to socialize with friends. They have tight graphics. They have a full season mode, which that's just exciting.
I gotta play it to really know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And it's made in collaboration. Like I said, the players who played on it, who helped with it, they have quite a big following. You know, they've been hyping it up for a while.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know their full involvement, but it'd be cool to find out exactly how much they worked on it, or if they were kind of just like a ghost financer, you know.
Buy their license.
Yeah, no, it could just literally be them lending some money and their name attached to it, or it could have been that they were like, trying it out from day one and like, nah, bro, that sucks. You need to do this. Or it being like, yeah, you're on the right direction with that.
Their involvement was providing 2 retired NFL football players to talk to.
Yeah, no, I'd be curious to know the full.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be fun to play, though.
Yeah, and it's just cool to know that, like, all right, eventually we're probably going to see MLB games, NHL games. It's inevitable. But the first one by
MLB.
Yeah.
We'll see. They haven't made a good one in 20 years.
Yeah, we were even talking about that during Totally Baseball. It's like, baseball games.
I haven't seen a good baseball game since probably the late 70s, when they were just little red dots on a screen. You'd play it on a handheld. They
all get just like terrible reviews
because they suck. I play them all and dude, not to get off course, but there was one that had like a 2 out of 5. 2 stars, maybe it was like a 1.7, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe everyone's wrong. And within like 5 minutes of playing it, I was like, holy crap, everyone is so right. This game sucks. I'll be the first to say it. MLB just, I don't know what happened and why it happened, but they went from having like really good shit to just abrupt stop, like hitting a wall, and then still pumping it out, but not as good as it really could be. But I know sorry to digress.
No, I know. I get it though. You get passionate about things.
Yeah, because I want to play, even on console. I want to play a good baseball game.
Maybe when they do it in VR, maybe it'll be good. But at least the first officially licensed like large sports brand, their VR game is good. You know, it's
the
good graphics.
So far.
They took it serious. They didn't half-ass it. So I don't know. Hopefully it sets a trend of more major.
And just in time for football season.
Come on,
figure
convenient.
That was like, they must have planned that.
Come on, man, look at that. So, one last thing on new headsets. We said it a couple months ago. 2023 is shaping up to be pretty big for VR.
Mm-hmm.
Between the PS4 VR, the PSVR2. Potential next metaquest headsets, if Apple ever gets, around and releases theirs, and then Pico entering the market too. And then look at that. Pico started teasing a product announcement for this coming Thursday for their Pico 4, which you were making some funny jokes. It's going to be the Pico Pro.
It's going to be a Pico Pro. It comes out the day after the Cambria.
Or the day before.
Looks almost identical.
Literally same specs. So the current Pico product is pretty similar to the Quest 2.
Quest 2.
If it would make sense to me if this is pretty similar to the MetaQuest Pro. That's the way it goes. Same factories, yada yada.
Right. What are you going to do?
Quest 2 is built in China. Pico's a Chinese company, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But it'll be cool to see what the actual product is. Their previous products have only launched in Asia and Europe. I'd be very excited to see a North American launch on this. That'd be, just another player in the market.
They're coming. I mean,
they have to. It's
no way around it. I think they're just gearing up to do the whole North American launch.
It's another tech giant in VR. It's like, these are the people who own TikTok, so
I want to know where all your TikTok data goes.
I'm sure TikTok's making stupid money. The amount of users on it and stuff, just on ad revenue, it's probably ridiculous.
I mean, go deep just on data.
Yeah.
Just on that alone. I mean,
well, is that being sold or used,
Probably both. But they would know more than anything what people want.
Yeah, so, and let's be real, when they really want to market it, they'll be able to internally market it through TikTok very easily. I'm sure they'll send it to all their major TikTok influencers and, put it on ad spaces there. So it'll be interesting, but only being in Asia and Europe, you're not getting every market. You really need to hit that North American launch as well, I believe. Just me. Selfishly.
I say that selfishly. Yeah.
As somebody living in North America.
As you were saying it, I'm like, I agree with that totally selfishly, yes.
I will 100% say it's because I live in, North America.
Little jelly, I can't try it, but whatever.
It'd be cool to at least know, even though people say, all right, it's similar to the Quest 2, is it exactly the same?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Yeah, maybe it's
Is
comfy.
any aspect of it better? Anything.
Or worse?
Yeah.
I can't know until, just like reviewing games, I can't know until I try myself, so.
Once it comes, we'll strong arm our way into getting some.
Yeah, so I'm sure, like I said, 2023 going to be fun between the Cambria, which, seems like it'll be the MetaQuest Pro, the PSVR2, Pico 4, and then maybe even Apple. Let's see. If
I were betting, I would go with Meta definitely coming out with theirs.
Zuckerberg said it on the Rogan podcast, so.
I would anticipate something happening with Pico in 23.
With North America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
I'm guessing.
Their influence in other country trade shows is just ridiculous.
Well, their European expansion happened not too long ago at all.
I just think they're trying to do it smart.
Yes.
So they can hit the market and just blow it out of the water instead of hitting it and not being able to actually supply and demand.
Yeah, ironing out supply chains is a complicated thing. There's a reason why people's whole jobs are dedicated to that. That's like an area of expertise. And I'd imagine what they're doing is exactly what you said. Like, all right, so we got our Asian supply chain good. Let's make sure our European supply chain is good too. Like, we got the logistics worked out. We have providers. All right, now let's go to North America versus just trying to do a whole worldwide.
It'd be gangster, as if they had it built in America and sold it cheaper. And sold it cheaper than their competition.
It'd be cool if it
that
rained.
That would be funny.
Be cool if it rained $100 bills too.
Hey, it is funny though.
So so big hardware stuff, and then one little thing on software before we wrap this baby up too. We were talking the other week that there's often debates on arms or floating hands or legs or no legs. Well, the current meta avatars, which I love the meta avatars. The game we're reviewing this Wednesday, even I've been saying it, if it had the meta avatars in the co-op, it'd be hilarious. Almost any game with multiplayer, it's one of the first things I say is, where are those meta avatars at? So I love them in their current state, but they're legless. They ain't got no legs. Well, now Meta's working on adding third-person legs in the third-person view. So third-person legs, Jesus, legs in the third-person view. So when you're hanging out with your friend in the shared homeroom or whatever, you'll see the legs there. And I wonder if that's going to translate into the actual games that utilize it as well.
I wonder if you can walk around barefoot. If your buddy's got a foot thing.
I hope I can go barefoot.
Check out my feet.
Ooh, I want to wear flip-flops.
Right.
I want to wear flip-flops.
So it does open the door to more customization of your meta character.
Well, it's going to make the games that utilize it that much better,
You know, the thing that scares me about a lot of the avatars, though, is and this is like on a serious note, is that the majority of people definitely don't pick. Like, if I could do an avatar, I want it to look as much like me as possible. I just don't have the ability to
design that.
To design such a thing. That's why I'm a victim of I need a scan. Where most people, you know, their avatars are never going to look like they would. And you can make the argument, well, you know, it's just an escape and all that. But it's like, at the same time, it's how you're choosing to identify with this whole other society and community that exists. And nothing about it is even remotely true from the start. So it's,
well, I don't mind that at all. My guy doesn't look like me, and I don't really care either. Like, think of, like, you know, VR chat. People load in as
a
unicorn.
That's what it got me thinking about it originally.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Didn't say there was anything wrong with it.
I know.
I made no assumption anything was wrong with it. Just pointing out it's just strange.
I don't see anything.
It's very strange.
I don't see anything strange about it.
Totally, dude.
Sometimes I used to, in like video games, when I would make a dude, whatever, I would make him have the biggest spiky hair like Dragon Ball Z, and I would give him tattoos from head to toe. Mm-hmm. If you look at me,
usually the options always existed in the games.
I always took advantage of it.
Thousands of mods, but
I'd made guys with green
when we
skin.
live in a world where I think people are trying to use like their avatars more of a representation of who they are, not some character in a video game.
So here's
to be carried over and crossed over to other platforms, and the ability to use that avatar in the future for other things. Then I'm just looking at the bigger picture of, well, why do so many people try to not portray it as who they really are instead of what they wish they could be?
Well, I think that the problem is that, like, to you want your avatar to look like you. Mm-hmm. I think if you surveyed people, the majority wouldn't give it. Like, they really don't.
We don't know.
I know.
I'm just putting it out there. That was my original thing.
I know.
So it's not a dump on anybody who has a unicorn fucking horn coming out of your head. I don't really care. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious in the bigger scope of things, when the function of the avatar is going to have a bigger meaning than what it currently is. And just, you know, psychologically, that's all.
I don't think it'll cause any psychological positives or negatives.
Okay.
Personally, I think it's like a neutral thing. I think it's like creating a video game character.
Okay.
It's just something you'll forget about. You'll change it a week later, and it is what it is. People seem to love their like Bitmojis, like their Facebook Messenger, little, you know, things that look identical to them too. Yeah, but I think that about wrapped it up on like products and news. There's a lot of products coming, man. It's an exciting time coming. All right. So if you enjoyed this episode, like I always say, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and stay tuned for Wednesday. We're talking about what might be my new favorite VR game, but definitely my favorite co-op game.
Exciting.